back to microbeerreviews.com. We have got a really cool beer for you today to review. It's out of North Carolina. It's out of one of the more popular and well-known breweries in North Carolina. It's from the Carolina Brewing Company. They have this lion on their label everywhere, on the tap in the restaurants. You can clearly see this yellow line on the label. They're out of Holly Springs, North Carolina, which is outside of Raleigh. Real cool story about this brewery. These guys, this is what they wanted to do. They all had fairly decent jobs, at least the story I've always been told. Met a few of them before even. And they decided they wanted to have a brewery and brew tasty liquids. That's one of their little quotes on some of their beers. Brewers of tasty liquids. They do some really cool beers. And if you go to the brewery, you can take a tour, and just like any other brewery, and they are just extremely nice guys. You can tell that they're doing what they love to do. So what this beer is their Indian Pale Ale. It is a heavily hopped, and they phrase it as a higher alcohol content Pale Ale. It's only 5.4%, so I don't call that a higher alcohol content Pale Ale. We're going to do a review of Pale Ale that's 10.4%. That's high alcohol content. I think this is middle of the road. So it's 5.4%. CBC is always on their caps. This particular beer, they talk about, has Cascade and Crystal hops and a strong citrus and piney flavor and aroma. What I like about this beer, I've had it many times before. When you smell it, it smells citrusy and hoppy, which is exactly what I like about a Pale Ale. I am picky about Pale Ales. I like Pale Ales, and I'm very critical of them because I think there's a lot of really good ones out there, and I like the flavor of hops. This is one of my top 20, maybe 25, but it's in there, and that's impressive. If it's even in there, and I've purchased it before and multiple times, it's worth your money. Trust me on this one. Anyway, so when you first pour the beer, it pours just like a Pale Ale. It's got a fairly nice color to it. What's cool about this beer is, you'll notice, I don't know if you can see it, it'll lace and kind of the, you can kind of see how the head will kind of just stick to the side of the glass. I like that and appreciate that in an Indian Pale Ale. Now, IPA is something that should happen. It should have that stickiness to it. This has it. I really like it. Now, when you drink this beer, a lot of people will say they like a little bit more head, maybe a little bit more zest, a little bit more fizz. It's not. It's what I would call on the flatter side of beers, and I've had it multiple times. They're all like this. But the flavor of the hops with the citrus, I think, are very unique with this beer, and I think it makes it easier to drink. And what I mean by that is a lot of IPAs are harsh, and they're really strong with either hops or piney notes or even some citrus, and it kind of makes your eyes, turn into saucers. This is a very pleasant beer. So that is what I want you to remember about this review. It's a very pleasant Pale Ale. It's got a nice flavor to it. It's got very good combinations, subtle combinations of citrus, hops, and they call it piney notes. I don't really taste the piney notes, but they say it's in there. And this brewery is something that they've been around before this big craft beer thing came around, and they have survived, and I would appreciate, and I know they would appreciate your support. So I like this beer a lot. I bought it in 6-packs many times. I think it's about $8 at the grocery store for a 6-pack, which I think is extremely reasonable. It's out of North Carolina. I would give it at least a 4, if not a 4.5 on my rating scale. If you've watched any of my reviews recently, I've done a lot of 4 and 4.5s, which is rare. I usually stick in the 3 and 3.5 range, and then I throw in a 5 and say, if you can find this, buy it. It's definitely an IPA that you need to try. I think a lot of people would like this. I've had people try this that don't like IPAs that say, man, that's pretty good. I really like the flavor of that. And I think it's because it's not as powerful on the hop side as you would expect, but it's more powerful on the citrus side, but not overpowering, and a lot of people really like it. So that's it. Try it. Buy it. Check it out. Carolina Indian Pale Ale. It's a really, really strong IPA in the class. So let me know if you've tried it. Please leave comments on our YouTube channel or website. We're on Facebook and we're on Twitter. You're welcome to follow us there, and we'll be uploading a lot of videos here shortly. Cheers.